It's sort of the definition of an oligarchy where even
It
though
is an
these guys
oligarchy.
aren't
It is a
these,
plutocracy.
I mean,
My friends, what we are looking at here has nothing to do with democracy. What we are looking at here is oligarchy.
Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, Elon Musk has been trying to get his way already within government. If you've seen the news over the past few days, you'll see, but we're going to explain it here, see what happened. We're going to hear from AOC and we're going to hear from Bernie Sanders. If you don't like their politics, I think they still have something important to say here. What they're pointing out is Elon Musk becoming an oligarch. And will it lead to him going bankrupt, bust in his companies over time? Is this a bad path that he's on now, trying to grab power, make a grab for government power? Let's get into it. First, let's see what AOC's got to say. Then we'll hear from Bernie Sanders as well, and I'll react to it.
We were totally fine. We were totally fine. Democrats and Republicans had come to a compromise. CR, just government funding bill. Mike Johnson says, you know what, let's just do it at 4. And in that 3-hour window, Elon Musk tweeted. And it died. And then you have Trump threatening, and basically Trump threatened to primary any Republican that voted for a clean CR. And then Elon tweeted that he was threatening to primary anyone that voted for the compromise CR. And Republicans are in this moment where they don't know who their daddy is right now. And so they are just running around like chickens with their head cut off. Just shut down the government literally out of nowhere because of a tweet. It's actually insane. It's actually insane.
Did you catch what AOC was saying there? When Elon tweeted, it was enough for politicians to take notice and stop a bill that was going to go through just because he tweeted. This is an unelected person, a businessman. Trump's right-hand first buddy managed to do this, and it's quite unbelievable, as she said.
This is actually what this fight is actually all about. This is why Elon is involved in this right now, because he's not tweeting this out of nowhere. He's not coming at this out of nowhere. They are trying to lift the debt limit now because reauthorizing the Trump tax cuts next year are going to explode our federal debt. It's going to explode our deficit again. And they don't want to lift the debt limit then to do that. They want to lift it now. That's why they're—
because that'll draw too much attention to what their tax cuts are doing. And this way, if they split it up, it's less of a story at that time.
That's why Elon's getting involved. His net worth has, I believe it's almost doubled since the election.
Right. So Elon getting involved, it's strategic. It's not just impulsive out of the blue. It's aimed at having a result for himself and his businesses. It's not aimed at the people. He talks about the people, the American people. But really, if you look at what he's actually doing and why he's doing it in Trump, it's a different story.
He is trying to further explode his net worth. And he is trying to leverage everything from income from federal contracts to reducing his own personal expenditures and reducing his taxes. This is what this is about for him. Trump has a different set of priorities for himself. He's trying to, line his own pockets and figure out his own political preservation in this moment. And sometimes those things are aligned and sometimes they're not. And I think right now we're in one of those friction points.
Okay, this is even before Trump has got into office, obviously positioning, jockeying for position, and everybody's got their own priorities. Elon's is himself and his businesses, it seems. Trump is a political animal at the moment, so he's looking for what can he do in that 4 years. And Elon Musk is trying to get as much power and now political power as he can for his own ends. It seems that way.
It's sort of the definition of an oligarchy where even though these guys aren't these, I mean.
So AOC laughed there about it being an oligarchy, a plutocracy, or heading that way. Really, even though she laughed, she is serious about that. And now we're going to hear from Bernie Sanders, his experience of it and what he thinks of it. Now, if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. It really does help. And if you're new here, do subscribe to get more of this kind of content from me in the very near future.
After months of negotiations, Senate Democrats and House Republicans reached an agreement called a continuing resolution, which would continue to fund the government for 3 months. And I was prepared and am prepared to vote for it. And one of the reasons is that it contained a reasonable increase in funding for primary health care. And given the enormous crises that we're facing in health care in this country today, it really would be of help to many millions of Americans. What this legislation would do is significantly, or modestly at least, increase funding for community health centers all over this country, which treat about 30 million Americans who are low income or working class. And it would also increase the number of young doctors who go out into rural America and also into underserved areas. That is where we need the doctors and the nurses, and that's what this legislation would do.
So he was talking about healthcare, very concerned with healthcare there, as many Americans are. You know, just a couple of weeks ago, we saw the murder of a CEO to do with the healthcare company. Americans are really angry at the healthcare industry, and it is an industry. Bernie Sanders said that this bill would have helped that. So Elon Musk stopping the bill there, changing the bill would affect that. There hasn't been much talk about that because it's a big bill. Elon was talking about cutting it back, pruning it down. And Elon says a lot on X about it, or eggs as I like to call it, and people don't know what's going on under. And unless they listen to people that are involved in the bill, like Bernie Sanders here, let's see what else he's got to say about the bill itself and what Elon did.
Within the House of Representatives, the Republican House, and the Democratic Senate, there was widespread agreement on this resolution. And it was just about ready to be passed. In fact, the Republicans posted it on their website. We were ready to go. But then, out of nowhere, the wealthiest man in the world, Elon Musk, began tweeting his opposition to this legislation. In fact, he was very blunt about it. He told Republicans that if they voted for this proposal, which they had already agreed to do, he would take out his wallet and spend as much money as it took to defeat them in primaries and drive them out of office. You got that? Take a deep breath and appreciate what's going on here.
So Bernie talks about the seriousness of this. Remember, Elon Musk is unelected. He has no business being in there just because he tweeted and has a big impact, spreading his propaganda on X to 200 million plus people, putting pressure on the government. As he said, Democrats and Republicans were ready to vote on this bill. Many things in it, and Elon just sticks his nose in and changes things. That's the power he's having. It is an oligarch type of behavior.
The wealthiest person in the world, who spent at least $277 million to elect Donald Trump in a Republican Congress, has now claimed complete ownership of that party. And what he is saying is, hey, Republicans, forget your constituents, forget your constitutional responsibilities. If you don't do what I, Elon Musk, want you to do, you're out of office. And I have the money to do just that.
And we can see that he did that because he spent $277 million and got Donald Trump elected. Do we think that he could get people out of office by putting money into their opponents? These politicians would be scared that Elon Musk could get them out of office. That's what this is about, using his money, using his financial power and now political power to get people out of office, threatening them.
My friends, what we are looking at here has nothing to do with democracy. What we are looking at here is oligarchy. This is up and up. Government by the billionaire class for the billionaire class.
Now, when Bernie posted this on X, I was looking at the replies. Somebody commented, why didn't you say something about this when it was the Democrats? Because there are Democratic billionaires who have stuck their nose in or tried to influence politics. And why didn't you say something then? But the fact is, Bernie has been saying these things for many years, whether it's Republicans or Democrats. He has been saying this about the billionaire class, as he puts it, and he is concerned about plutocracy and oligarchy like this. So he has been talking about both sides, but this is perhaps the most brazen that we've ever seen. And this is when Trump isn't even in office yet.
And by the way, Musk is not only trying to intimidate Republicans, he is trying to inject himself into the Democratic Party as well. He is threatening to target Democrats who are standing up to him and his agenda. Further, and very dangerously, and this is the guy, you know, who owns Twitter. As part of his campaign to defeat this resolution, Musk has been spreading an enormous amount of disinformation and outright lies about what is in the bill.
I'm glad he said this, because Elon can say whatever he wants. Even if you comment on it, reply to it and say that's not true, then you just get buried there, because you have to actually pay for reach there. Unless you've got millions of followers like he has, it just gets buried, and he can promote and amplify whoever he wants. So he can just spread lies on their propaganda, he can say whatever he wants, and it's really hard to counter.
He said that the measure would include a 40% pay raise for Congress. That's a lie. It is a 3.9% increase, the same as federal employees are receiving. He said that this legislation would fund bioweapons labs. Not true. In fact, it provides funds to protect Americans from emerging infectious diseases. He said that the country would be just fine if the government shut down. Really? Here's what happens if Mr. Musk gets his way and the deal implodes.
So Elon Musk will be fine if the government shuts down. He's nearly worth $500 billion at this point. He doesn't care what happens, doesn't care the chaos it would cause, but it would cause a negative public sentiment for him if these things carried through. If the government did actually shut down, it didn't in the end, but if it did, Musk doesn't care.
Funding for kids' cancer research gets cut. At a time when we are already paying the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, pharmaceutical middlemen will be able to continue to overcharge you for your prescriptions. Americans recovering from devastating floods, fires, and hurricanes, often due to climate change, won't get the help that they need. That's what happens if the proposal goes down. And what happens if the government shuts down? Well, our troops won't get their paychecks. Nearly 7 million women and children who rely on WIC nutrition assistance could go hungry. And 2 million federal government workers, some of whom don't make a whole lot of money, won't be getting paid.
And with Elon's fake government department, they are looking at cutting a lot of government jobs. Maybe there is some fat in government that needs cutting. But as I said in a previous video, one of the biggest budgets is actually military defense spending. Will they be able to touch that at all? Republicans are pretty keen on expanding that, or keeping it at least, probably expanding it as it does every year. Democrats likely want to do that too. Both sides don't really touch that budget. There's a lot of waste there. Will they be able to do that at all? Will he care about that? Will they be cutting Social Security and areas like that instead? The people who most need it, the healthcare. As I said, Americans are angry about healthcare, how much it costs compared to other places in the world.
Now, let us be very clear. Elon Musk was not elected to be president of the United States. In fact, he was not elected to be dog catcher. And by the way, what all of this hoopla is really about, above and beyond everything I'm talking about, is that when Trump and Musk come into power in late January, do you know what their first order of business will be? You think it'll be to fix healthcare? You think it'll be deal with climate change? Deal with homelessness? Well, if you thought that, you're dead wrong. Their first order of business will be to provide massive tax breaks for the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations. So think about it.
That's what AOC said as well, that really they're looking at tax cuts, but how to fund those tax cuts. They want to raise the debt ceiling. They want to do it early so it's not so noticeable. This is the kind of thing that the public doesn't know. And if people on X, if they're just listening to Elon's hundreds of tweets per day, well, over 100 a day, there were in that time when he was trying to shut down this bill, he was tweeting hour after hour after hour to get it done. That's how much he wants to do this. And really, it's about enriching himself.
At a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, when Musk himself is worth almost $500 billion, what these guys want to do is give more tax breaks to billionaires and the heads of large corporations. So where do we go from here? Let us understand the gravity of what we are dealing with. This is not politics as usual. This is not just Democrats versus Republicans, conservatives versus liberals or progressives. It's much deeper than that. What we are dealing with right now is that the billionaire class, which owns so much of our economy, which owns so much of our media, they are now moving aggressively to own our political system as well. So we got a lot of work in front of us. We've got to educate, we've got to organize, and we have got to stop them.
Yes, I think Bernie has a really good point there. The gravity of the situation here with billionaires like Elon Musk, not just a billionaire, but as he said, worth $500 billion, will probably soon moving in to try and control government as well with his friends as well. There are other people in there, Musk's friends, that are taking this opportunity. They think that they can control Trump. I think that's the case, and control the government. And so this is important no matter what your politics are. You may not agree with AOC's politics. You may not agree with Bernie's politics as well. But really, I think that he does have a really good point here. This is a dangerous situation, and Trump hasn't even got into office, and this sort of thing is happening. Now, how could this bankrupt bust Elon Musk? Well, this could go to a very bad place for him if it doesn't work out, and he's known to take massive risks here. He is taking a risk trying to control government in many ways. If this goes bad, if Trump ends up kicking him out, they both have thin skins and big egos. Could they end up fighting? This could go really badly for Elon if people realize what Bernie's saying here, what AOC's saying. If the public turned against Elon, didn't buy his products at all, didn't buy Teslas, already he's rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, a lot of liberals who first bought his vehicles. It's going to be interesting to see the financials of, say, Tesla. And also SpaceX gets government contracts and Tesla gets government subsidies. That could all end if a lot of people realize what's going on here and try to stop Elon. He is acting like an oligarch, and in a democracy, that is not a good situation. So it could end badly for him. And if he's trying to do this, perhaps it should end badly for him. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Do you think that Elon Musk is acting like an oligarch here, and this is dangerous for him, dangerous for the public, dangerous for everybody if the US goes down this route from democracy to oligarchy, which is more like a Russian type of situation? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now on screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a link to a related video. Go and see that now if you want to. Also a subscribe link if you're new here. Do subscribe to get more of this kind of thing from me in the very near future. And thanks to everybody for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.